Welcome out to the deal room. We have on the show today Gennady Krivoy, realtor with Royal LePage, and we're going to break down a deal for you right here in Coquitlam. Gennady, you there?
I am here. Yeah, looking forward to this. These are very practical matters that like to crunch numbers and put real scenarios together in this kind of market where there's a lot of uncertainty. So yeah, let's talk about this one.
All right. So, yeah, Gennady, can you just run us through the deal and we'll we'll see what kind of opportunities are out there for today's market.
Yes, and speaking of today's market, the best ones like a lot of uncertainty, but I think the focus of this deal is more for like a first time buyers in general. Whether it's this kind of deal or something a little different. But first-time buyers, there's a lot of opportunities out there with some incentives, pricing reductions, government programs, etc. So this deal kind of ticks a lot of those boxes. So here's the breakdown. So we're talking about a condo here in Coquitlam. New one, new construction, started in 2022. It's just finishing up this year. It's along North Road by the SkyTrain. Client here who he bought a pre-sale price approximately 700,000 back in 2022. He wants to unload it before the completion, and this is a very common situation now we're seeing where people bought pre-sales, the values have gone down, interest rates have gone up, and they cannot close or they don't want to close, they want to get out of it. So the value contract price was 700,000 in the beginning. The current value of it is realistically about 600,000. It's gone down about 100 grand, which is about 15%. And that's also equal to what this seller has put as a deposit, about 15%. One bedroom, one den, about 650 square foot. So just give this a minute. So
Wow. So if I'm hearing this right, we're talking about $100,000 deposit for this guy to get started, and you're saying that that's equivalent to about the discount that you we could get and see in today's market on this property.
precisely. And it's a very common thing. Like, is anyone who got a pre-sale in say 2022, 2023, and paid 10 to 15% deposit, more than likely those properties have gone down about 10, 15%. And but they would still have to pay the full contract price to get it. So that's
Wow.
why they want to get out of
Wow.
it. So
Wow. That's huge. That's huge.
yeah, right off the top, this is a good opportunity for buyers. So buyers, obviously, we're seeing it on our boots on the ground stuff. There's, been a lot of buyers that kind of got beat up a few years ago, and since the markets have cooled down, we've seen a lot of buyers kind of waiting, seeing how things play out. As they say, wait till the bottom hits, see prices going down. So eventually things gotta, pick up, and we are seeing, and I'll mention that in a moment about, number of sales, some picked up a little bit. Interest rates have come down to some extent. So there's opportunities out there. So this particular deal it's a good example of what a first-time home buyer uh, could acquire for a good deal and maximize tax savings at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Right away, I'm thinking, you know, if we've got a buyer that qualifies, we can get them in as low as 5% in, 35,000 down.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, you said this started about 4 years ago and it's just finishing up completion now. I mean,
Mhm.
back in the day, the way things were with the demand conditions, I mean, 100K down wasn't uncommon. But in today's market, I mean, you could get in for 35K. Um, and obviously, if you're looking at sourcing a down payment, it can come from a first time home buyer savings account, which is a tax-free withdrawal on top of everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's actually one of there's actually three different kind of government programs that I think we should touch base on. So that's one of them. That's for people who, let's say they were aware of these programs a bit early. Someone who, this is the first homeowners savings act, FHSA. It's a federal government program, uh, essentially for first time buyers to put aside up to $8,000 a year for up to 5 years for a total of 40,000. And this is tax free. I mean tax deductible first of all, right? Um, from their take home pay,
Yeah.
and then it can grow tax free in the meantime. So kind of
Yeah.
like
So
let's say RSP.
yeah, so you're not paying tax on your gross income. You're sticking it into this account. It's growing tax free at the same time,
Yeah,
and then you're able to take the money out tax free. So you're basically getting pre-tax money serving as your down payment, which is a pretty great program to be involved with.
exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, so but there's a maximum cap on that of 8,000 per year, up
Yeah,
to 40,000 lifetime on the accumulation side. But the
ex
the great thing is you withdraw it tax free, boom, you've got your down payment.
yeah. So that's why I thought so this is a good place to start for this particular deal, this particular Coquitlam deal. So let's say um, it's worth 600,000 now. The seller's willing to let it go for 600. Buyer makes an offer for six. So 600,000. Right away, the 5% is 30,000, and then you'd have some closing costs. Uh, but altogether, the closing costs would be uh, under 40,000, and a first-time home buyer can already have that in this savings account. So that'd be like an ideal setup for this kind of
Yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, precisely, it's not really a 5%, and it's more. I think I might have misspoke, but basically, it's a 5% down, and then it's 10% of the difference up to the 600K purchase price, which would add another 10K in. So 35K in, you're down.
Yeah,
You're in for your down payment. Yeah,
correct, correct. Okay. So
yeah.
right there, and you got the down payment. So and then let's say there's another very relevant government program that affects first-time buyers is the property transfer tax incentive. So this has been around for a while, where some first-time home buyers could get an exemption on the property transfer tax, which is payable on completion, and an extra
Hmm.
cost on top of the mortgage, right? It's not part of the mortgage. Typically,
Right.
we on that 1% on the first 200, 2% on the balance. So on a $600,000 purchase price, typically the property transfer tax would be $10,000,
Right.
based on,
Wow.
right, 10,000. So that would be an additional cost the buyer would have to pay on top of um, the down payment. So
Right.
in this particular program, so the government they've increased the limit recently. Now you can get an exemption if the purchase price is under 835,000. Then a first-time buyer can get exempt from the property transfer tax on the first 500,000 only, not the whole amount, but the first 500,000, which in this case would be equal to $8,000. $8,000
Yeah.
they would save on property
Yeah.
transfer tax from the 10,000 that would be owed. Therefore, 2,000 difference. Buyer would only have to pay up another $2,000 for property transfer tax on this particular deal.
$8,000 savings right there. That's a
Right?
massively reduced closing cost.
Massively.
Unbelievable.
So they would on a 600,000 purchase, they'd only have to pay $2,000 property transfer tax. So we'll add that to that 35,000 down payment we
Yeah.
mentioned a moment ago. So you're at 37
Hmm.
right away. Great, savings right there. Um, the third benefit, which is this is kind of a perfect trifecta of a property like condition.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think we got to have to edit that part out if there's a way. We got the call.
I don't think there is. We're just going live.
Uh, okay, this is the way it is. Okay. Uh, Forgive me. Okay, so yeah, let's say the buyer's to pay GST on 600,000 because
Yeah.
that's another 30,000.
Yeah.
There's other government. This is a federal government program, GST, where any new house under $1 million, if it's a primary residence, they can get a rebate of 100% of the GST.
Oh,
So
I think you're talking about Bill C-8 that came out last week.
yeah, yeah, they raised the limit on the GST exemption, and now like where you can get a full GST rebate on anything up to $1 million.
Oh,
That
sorry, Bill C-4, I think it's called.
C4.
Not C-8. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, C4. Yeah,
So that
that's
just
right.
came into effect. What was it? Just March 20th, right? Just like 3 days ago.
Yeah, so if it's a new build that the guy's buying, like there's a 5% that comes back to you after the closing. That's another 30 grand in the buyer's fraud, in the buyer's pocket rather.
Yeah, yeah, and it
Yeah,
comes back
yeah.
after, right? So you complete on the sale, you
Yeah.
pay the money, and then you get the rebate. You get a $30,000 check after. You know.
Okay, so let's look at the total advantage then. Let's summarize it all. Let's start right from the top if we can, Gennady.
Mm.
So I think there was a discount originally between the first buyer and the second buyer in terms of the market value. What was that? 100,000, right?
So yeah, from 700 to 600,000.
Yeah, so 100, 700 down to 600, so that's 100,000.
Mhm.
And then there's the GST rebate, which was 30,000, right?
Yeah.
Property tax savings, 8,000.
Hmm.
And then just depending on your income level, there's the first time home savings tax advantage where you didn't have to pay any tax on the income that was earned, and you pull it out of that tax-free savings account, not even counting the money that you might have earned while it was in that savings account. So if we add it up, it's over $138,000
Yeah.
of savings right there. I mean, not even counting taxes.
Yeah.
So
On a
this is
brand
huge.
on a brand new product, brand new, which means
Yeah,
like warranties and like who doesn't like new? Uh, at a great deal in a great location. So
that's
this kind of opportunity, like it's kind of been brewing for a while now. Like I've been, a lot of people are
yeah,
in a situation where they want to get out of these assignments. Even developers, like directly, if you're dealing with developers, um, they're either discounting their prices or offering massive like incentives, like no GST or no strata fees for a year. Like there's a lot of incentive to get these new products sold. And most of them in the Lower Mainland are going to be in this sort of 500 to 700,000 range, which is fits with those government programs that we just talked about for the
yeah,
tax savings. And it's this kind of deal. We're going to see more of it, right? We're definitely going to see more of it, and I want to share this with like potential buyers, clients that I'm working.
yes,
Anyone who's just been hesitant, waiting to get into the market or scared to get into the market, what's going to happen. Like now we're seeing it. And, the numbers, I was just looking at the numbers, just the sales stats last month, there's definitely been an uptick in this price point. Uh, have you seen it? You've probably seen it also from your side, right? Like from the,
yeah. On the mortgage side, here at Mortgage Pal, we've received a ton more of applications. A lot of people in my own personal database, hundreds of them in there, uh, thousands actually, but I would say hundreds of them are interested. And we're having these kind of conversations about, is it a good time to buy? What about the high interest rates? What do I do to mitigate that risk? Well, this call's been really valuable because we've outlined just in this simple deal in the deal room today, $138,000 of pure value right off the top, not even including, um, the tax-free savings account, full advantages of not having to pay income tax on that money that you deposited, not paying any taxes on the money that was earned in that account. It's a special government registered account. And then there's lots of incentives like you were mentioning. Strata free fees are frozen for like a year, other kind of incentives. So um, why wouldn't the market start ticking up? I think we might have reached a significant point in the market where we are seeing
yeah,
people feeling that it's more affordable, the government's being more supportive. I mean, you're able to basically in this situation buy below the last buyer with government money and tax refunds. It doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't
Um,
get better. So here's the thing. So two
yeah,
things. So one, we see it and feel it, kind of on the ground, right? Like just talking to people, our own clients and our colleagues. But the numbers, I'll share some numbers with you just to kind of put some more
yeah,
con concrete.
yeah.
So,
Sure.
so just roughly, like, in February, there was a significant uptick in the number of sales across most markets in the Lower Mainland, and in the condos, like attached prop, not so much detached homes yet, attached properties, condos and
Hmm.
townhouses. So maybe, for example, uh, Vancouver, East Vancouver, from January to February, there was an increase of 100% increase in the number of properties sold from 63 to
Wow.
126, and the 600 to 700,000 price point was the hottest price point. Move out a little further, Coquitlam,
Hmm.
where this particular property is located. There was an increase from 62 to 104 sales from January to February, which is about a 67% increase in number of sales.
67%.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's huge.
that's huge.
It's
And
a
also,
lot of interest. That explains why I'm getting all these calls on my end.
and that's why, yeah, so the first time buyers are starting to kind of
Yeah,
feel, and again, the price point, the hottest price point, 600 to 700,000, that range. I'll give you one
yeah.
more. Let's go out a
Okay,
little further. Let's go into the valley.
sure.
Langley. Langley's been, growing a lot. They're building a lot there. So their same time period, January to February, 85 properties to 142. That's also 67% increase as well. And also the hottest price point, again, 600 to 700,000. So
Again, yeah, yeah,
seeing like usually these trends, like the markets kind of start in the Vancouver and they kind of like ripple out, into the suburbs, into the valley, and we're kind of seeing it. So Vancouver, that 100% increase in the number of sales. Vancouver East specifically, I'm talking like, but the other areas, similar numbers. I just chose Vancouver East because, I used to live there,
yeah,
and I'm seeing that
yeah,
a big increase. So um, that's the data. So the prices haven't gone up yet. Real estate, it's not like the stock market where, like, you hear some news and prices can go up the same day. There are some,
right.
it takes time for things to adjust, but if this continues, like from February to March, March to April, or
Hmm.
even maintains this level, like prices will start going up. Mortgage rates, obviously people are mindful of that. Like, and that's something
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about because people ask me like, if there's the Bank of Canada held the rates, they've cut the prime rate the last 5, 6 times, like, but how is that affecting fixed rates versus more variable rates? Like, and buyers
yeah,
ask about that.
yeah. I mean, what we're seeing is a few things. I mean, the CPI, the CPI index is still under control. I mean, the inflation is definitely under control. However, there are some appetites. Some lenders have kind of limited appetites for risk in terms of geopolitics and what's going on. Uh, but they don't really wait for the Bank of Canada to tell them what to do. I mean, they run their own banking enterprises and they do whatever they're going to do with their rates in
Mm.
terms of raising it or lowering it, depending on the market demand. And we are seeing rates starting to rise a little bit, just because of what's happening in the uh, in the 5-year bond market. They've actually gone up quite significantly in the last couple 2 or 3 weeks. Now, if this continues, it might pose a little bit of a risk if these rates continue to go up, and then you soon find out that, gosh, I'm not qualified anymore because you didn't get a pre-approval. However, if we lock in a pre-approved rate for you and you qualify for that rate and you find a property within 120 days, and you talk to someone like Gennady Krivoy, who's a realtor here in the Lower Mainland, who has the insights in between the lines of all these data points that he's been talking about, and he can find the deals where there's incentives and give you the maximum savings at the best location, then you'll want to get pre-approved, and you'll
100%.
want to talk to Gennady Krivoy uh, to make sure that you're getting the property that you need. Talk to me for the pre-approval so we can lock it in. Otherwise, if there is a risk that, rates go up even further, you don't want to be locked out of the market.
Yeah. And if the prices follow suit, if the prices start to creep up again, uh,
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
if the prices follow demand, if the demand stays strong for the next, 2, 3 months, it's going to build some momentum and obviously put some pressure on price increase. So,
yeah. I think
you
you're right.
again, like, none of this. I mean, no one has crystal balls, but we've been doing this long enough to kind of see kind of the trends of how what tends to happen. And ultimately, I say like any buyer out there, if you're thinking about making a move, like start with talking to people who are qualified in the game, who see the data, who hear the stories, and can get
Yeah,
deals done. Like this one we're talking about in Portland right now. That's a perfect, like, I'm gonna pitch this deal to first time buyers that I know. Like um the numbers make sense and the product is good. So it can get someone in the market at a drastically lower price and lower risk than uh, most people would be concerned about.
yeah. And I don't think the market's got away hasn't got away on us, has walked or ran off in some extreme direction quite yet. I mean, if you qualify currently right now, this is definitely one of the cleanest points of entry that I've seen in the market for a few years. Don't guess yourself, validate it. You can do that easily over at jamespark.ca, the website that I run for Mortgage Pal, under Mortgage Pal, where you can get on a mortgage calculator and you can sort of watch the green lights light up on the screen as to your approvability and the strength of your qualification right away. So you kind of know right away, even before we do a credit check, what works, what doesn't work. And further, if you give me a call, we can actually discuss your complete strategy, not only on just getting the best rate, but structuring things. Often, structure beats rate every single time. I've talked to dozens of people, um, almost on a daily basis, where they're concerned about these high interest rates, whether they're refinancing or they're renewing or they're thinking of purchasing. Well, how do you fight? How do you fight 4.19 or how do you fight 0.3, 0.99 when rates were way back a couple of years ago in the twos and high ones? How do you do that? Well, get on a call with me. I've taken guys from a 20-year amortization all the way down to 6 or 7 years amortization with a very, very small output of cost in terms of cash flow. We can discuss that strategy as well. I pop open my spreadsheet, show you all the numbers, and make sure that we've got a solid plan for you, your personal finances, and your goals in real estate. So, is there anything else that they should do to get a hold of you, Gennady? Just
Same, like,
in
yeah.
terms of
Yeah,
web? Yeah,
so, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, so my focus, on the Healthy
yeah,
Homes Realtor, healthyhomesrealtor.ca. Aside from the number stuff, I'm very health conscious and help people live in healthy homes. So you can contact me through there, or we'll attach the links to both of our contacts here. But I like to work with people, buyers early, whether you're thinking of, even if you're not ready this week, this month, even if you're thinking a few months from now, for whatever, maybe there's some condition you're waiting for, like some money to come or graduation or a job or something. That's fine. Long-term planning is okay too. And especially as structuring the financial part, as James mentioned, um, that's critical. I'm happy to do that, no obligation. This is a prime market. I've been doing this for 14 years. I was a first time buyer once too. This is the best market I've seen for first time buyers in quite a while. Um, and the data we shared and the insights we shared, I think, speak to that. And this particular deal is a real example of one ideal for a first time buyer.
awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that, Gennady. Again, Gennady Krivoy, Healthy Home Realtor, jamespark.ca. Get on the green light systems, instantly see how strong your approval is without an obligatory credit check, and get on a call with me for even more so that we can nail down your qualification, your pre-approval, and get you marching into your home. All right, and this has been an episode brought to you by James Park and Gennady Krivoy.
Awesome. Thank you, my
Until
friend.
next time.
Until next
You're
time.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.